G'day tankers, Chopper here, your average tanker. I'm going to do something different today, but as like everyone else, I'm addicted to my phone. I've been watching YouTube in bed, on the couch, wherever I can, and something come across my feed about the Tier 7 tank destroyer, the Challenger, the British tank destroyer, and I thought I'd clarify a few things in this video. So I'll play you a quick clip of what I come across. First of
Uh,
all,
ay, 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 ay. Okay, so we're back in World of Tanks.
this is
Guys,
from WOT Addict
as I'm grinding
Global.
these tanks, I hadn't noticed this before, but you guys, I want you to notice something about the Challenger. Um, it's got nothing to do with
This is the first thing on
the real Challenger. And by the way,
the real Challenger.
where is it? This is the real Challenger, right there. I'm not. No, I'm not advertising another game. I'm just saying that that is the real challenge. Let me just close Facebook because this stupid scammer is. Hang on, I'll be right back.
While he closes Facebook, I'll clarify this first fact. The real Challenger, he's calling it. Yes, that's the main battle tank Challenger, but if I go to Google, simple Google, Challenger tank destroyer. So the Challenger in game is based off the Cruiser Mark 8 Challenger. It was the real Challenger, apparently. So this was a tank destroyer which is based on a modified version of the Comet, the Cromwell hull with a 17 pounder put on top. So it's the same gun in the Firefly apparently. So this is just a quick Google on Wikipedia saying, clarifying that this is, I don't know what, this is the main battle tank Challenger. Is that the real Challenger, or is it, do you class a real Challenger being a tank back in World War II, like 50 years, or no, not 50 years, 30 years before the real Challenger is stating? So I beg to differ that the Challenger tank is the real Challenger. So, but we'll get into a little bit more about this history of this tank in a second.
As I was saying, that's the real Challenger up there. Now this Challenger in inverted commas, which is in World of Tanks, also happens to be a British tank, a tank destroyer. Anyway, as I was grinding it, I noticed the stock turret. Armor 102 from the front, 40 on the sides, 40 on the back, the rear.
Okay, so that's
Okay,
the stock turret
16 traverse speed,
with the
360
17
accuracy.
pounder
Okay, great.
format.
So I have finished with this tank, and I noticed this.
Okay, fair
Malaka,
enough.
δεν υπάρχει αυτό που λέω. Like, holy
Let's
crap,
have a
I'm
look.
aiming.
I'll go into this so because he's ramping on now. So what he's talking about here is the Challenger turret is 102 millimeters frontal armor, 40 millimeters side armor, and 40 millimeters rear armor. This turret is designed to take a 17 pounder gun. What he's talking about, what he's whinging about in the video is this Avenger turret. So it's a tier 7 turret with 51 millimeters frontal armor, 40 millimeters side armor, and 200 millimeters rear. So the 200 mil rear armor doesn't really reflect what's in the game. Sure, it does have 200 millimeters on the rear, but I'll go into the 3D model and show you what I mean. So let's have a look. So as you can see here, 40 mils, 40 mils, 40 mils. Yep, fair enough. And a bigger frontal armor. Now let's upgrade this to the bigger turret, to the Avenger turret. So what is the Avenger? Let's pause it. I'll pause just here and we'll click on. So, oh,
16 traverse speed, 360. Okay, I just
Okay, he's
muted
back
it.
from
I want to close
Facebook.
it
Now
because
listen.
there's
Let's listen to
funny
his
video that I
rant.
want to watch. I don't want to miss it. So anyway, whatever. You guys saw it in the browser. So, as I was saying, that's the real Challenger up there. Now this Challenger, in inverted commas, which is in World of Tanks, also happens to be a British tank, a tank destroyer. Anyway, as I was grinding it, I noticed the stock turret.
That's
Armor
fair.
102 from the front, 40 on the sides, 40 on the back, the
Yep,
rear.
that's correct.
Okay? 16 traverse speed, 360 view range. Okay, great. So I have finished with this tank, and I noticed this. Malaka, δεν υπάρχει αυτό που βλέπω. Like, holy crap.
Whatever he said.
Let's show that again.
Okay, so
Frontal armor 51. From 102, it goes down to 51. That's exactly half. 51 and 51 is 102. Sides remains the same, and suddenly, magically, the rear has 200. 200 armor.
yeah, okay.
Wargaming. Very good. So according to your logic, Wargaming, this is how we should be playing the game. Let me show you. Let me show you.
Okay, before he goes into this crap, okay, so let's take a deep dive into what he just tried to explain then. So this is the Challenger tank in game with the Challenger turret. So yes, it had 102 millimeters at the front. As you can see here, it's a little bit thicker. 40 millimeter sides and 40 millimeters rear, I believe it was. Yeah. So note this turret is designed to carry the 17-pounder gun, right? So if you look here, the 32-pounder gun is not compatible with this turret. So you need to upgrade the Avenger to the Avenger turret. Yes, in game you can carry a 17-pounder in this turret, in the Avenger turret, but this turret is designed for the Avenger tracks as well. So this turret is designed for the 32-pounder gun. 17-pounder, 32-pounder. See? So notice the extra distance, extra length. It's a bigger caliber, so it probably has more steel in this thing. So what he's whinging about is that it only has 52 millimeters at the front, sides are 40 millimeters, and 200 at the rear. So technically, this little thing here is at the rear. Let's go into Tanks GG and have a look. Okay, so here's the Challenger with the Challenger turret and a 17-pounder 3D model visual. Okay, so as you can see here, 40 millimeters in the back, side, front armor. So technically it is 102 millimeters at the front, but it's only this section. If you go over here and look at it face on, it's only 80 millimeters. So those stats are the maximum armor on one side, on the front. It's not a true representation of the entire frontal fascia. So you kind of use those stats as a grain of salt. So let's upgrade to the Avenger turret. Avenger turret. Now note that name, Avenger, and upgrade to the 32-pounder gun. All right, now back to the 3D model. Okay, so here we go. Yes, 52 millimeter, like it's even more in some cases. 40 millimeters on the side, 40 millimeters. This little last rear bit, 40 millimeters. And now this is where he's talking about the 200 millimeter rear armor is right here. So if you have a look at this, I can't do it. I'll have I'll have a look in game actually. All right. So if you have a look at this. What this likely is a counterweight. Because your 32-pounder gun is a lot heavier, a lot longer, you need to counterweight that weight at the back. Otherwise, your turret's going to be trying to turn, and it's going to be harder to turn. So you need to get that center of gravity right in the middle of that turret to be able to have a free-floating experience, make it easier for the mechanicals or the human to turn the turret. So that's what that 200 meters. That's that 200 millimeters armor debunked right there. Now remember I said take a note of the Avenger name. So what Avenger is, if you come down here, a variant. So the Challenger tank had a variant which they called the Avenger. The Avenger suffered from in trials as the engine had to remain running and to use the turret traverse motor because the noise and exhaust could give the vehicle away. It removed the second loader's position and featured much lower turret profile and lower superstructure on the hull. Additional storage bin was provided on the glacier plate and a large camo net and return rollers were added. So there was only 200 Challengers ever produced late in World War II, and the Avenger was supposed to still have the 17-pounder. So I don't know where they got the 32-pounder, but I guess Wikipedia doesn't go into much about it, but I'm sure Wargaming has had documentation or something that was released. And plans. They probably always got blueprints and plans. They probably got a whole treasure trove of good stuff that they researched. But this is the Challenger tank here in a museum. You can hardly see the turret, 17-pounder. So the Avenger is a variant of the Challenger. So doesn't really go into much. It says here that the Avenger had the 72-pounder, not 32-pounder, but I'm sure Wargaming has heaps of documentation as this was a real vehicle. It wasn't a blueprint vehicle. It was only used in trials. So they would have built a Avenger variant and trialed it, and they would have had good documentation. The British Ministry of Defence would have had good documentation about what the Avenger tank would have looked like. So yeah, so there we go. Okay, back to all the tanks, and then we have a little bit of background into the world of tanks, a little bit of Googling, a bit of Wikipedia. Just to imagine if I tried to do more research, what I could find to debunk his myths. So let's continue with the video. One thing that really annoyed me is
how ridiculous this is.
How ridiculous this is. So he's trying to be like skill and come face game and out the game and do some. He's a skill wannabe by the looks of this. But this is very boring. He blind fires a whole heap of bushes. Turns around, shoots. I don't know. But this is what he's. This is the gist of what he's trying to do. So again, gets in a position, tries to shoot some bushes, tries to get spotted. Waffles on. Yeah. Blind fires, just blind fires. Exciting gameplay here. Whoa. Yep. Blind fires. No one's gonna shoot me, so I decided. After a while, I decided to go to the 1-2 line. All right, let's fast forward to the 1-2 line. Okay, here he is. God, terrible gameplay.
There's a T-29 over there.
Okay, T-29.
It's like saying in Greek, holy shit, man.
Come on, where are you? Okay, here we go. He gets spotted. Now he's turning his turret 180 degrees so he can try and
in order to be able to bounce shots, I'm going to go hull down and turret backwards. Like what the hell is this? This is the only way that you could actually
turret backwards?
Why would you put 200 on the
Why would you want, if you're a tank destroyer, why would you want to bounce shots?
Turret as it was. Now, if I want to bounce this guy, this T29, who's hull down now, and he's a hull down beast, I have to turn 180 degrees.
So there's basically the rest of the game, the rest of the video. I did just basically him just trying to turn his turret 180 degrees to bounce some shots. Now, if you, it looks like he's like 1, 2, 3. So he basically threw 3 games by trying to prove a point that wargaming is stupid. So I don't think wargaming is stupid. I think they're historically accurate in this case, and they try to be historical. If they weren't historically accurate with some of their tanks, especially the ones that were produced, they'll get a trove of hate more than this guy. So that's my opinion of what wargaming did in this case. They were being historically accurate by giving the turret 200mm counterweight at the back of the turret. Simple as that. Anyway, I'll leave the video link down below that you can watch it yourself, form your own opinion. I'm no tank expert. I don't know what wargaming was doing in this case. My opinion, I think they were just being historically accurate. Because if they weren't historically accurate with the tanks that were actually produced, not blueprint tanks, then they would be in some trouble. And I understand that this is just a game, but there's a spectrum of accuracy that is also required in the game. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on the video. Let me know if I'm wrong. Oh, I don't mind if I'm wrong. I don't care. And don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Anyway, this is Chopper out.